Deep to right field, he has done it again. Unbelievable.
Coming up, we'll have a recap of the previous Padres game, a preview of today's starting pitching matchup, our keys to the game. Plus, we'll hear from manager Mike Shildt.
Ultimately, what we're here to do is win.
From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. Today the Padres take on the Arizona Diamondbacks in the final game of a 3-game series. Our starting pitching matchup tonight for the Diamondbacks, right-hander Anthony DeSclafani, and for the Padres, left-hander Nestor Cortes. Hi again, everyone. Sam Levitt with you from Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. First pitch coming up at 6:40 as we play the rubber game of this 3-game set. Coming up in the next 50 minutes, we'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. We hear from tonight's starting pitcher, Nestor Cortes. We'll also hear from Diamondback shortstop Geraldo Perdomo. Bob Scanlon joins me to preview tonight's game in just a little bit, and much, much more. But first, it's time to set the table, brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971, with 3 locations, La Mesa Vista and Oceanside, and at FraserFarmsMarket.com. Padres entered today 63-51. They enter the day sitting 3 games out of first place in the NL West. However, the Dodgers have already lost today, so the Padres 2.5 out right now. A win today would move them 2 out. Padres also obviously sitting in a National League wildcard spot. D-backs come in 54-60. They entered last night winners of 3 in a row. Speaking of last night's game, it was a doozy here in Phoenix. Let's rewind.
Did you miss what happened in the last Padres game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind on the Padres Radio Network.
Lourdes Gurriel Jr. hit a 2-run home run in the bottom half of the first inning to give Arizona a 2-0 lead. Padres answered in the second. First, it was Xander Bogaerts. 1-0 to Bogaerts. Swinging a drive into left. McCarthy going back at the warning track at the wall, and it's gone. Solo home run, Xander Bogaerts, his 8th of the season. The Padres answer right back here in the second. It's 2-1 Arizona. Ramon Laureano tripled. That brought up Jake Cronenworth. Swinging a line drive into left center, a base hit. Laureano scores easily. Cronenworth around first base on his way to second. Throw there, not in time. A stand-up RBI double for Jake Cronenworth. And just like that, it's 2-2. We had a 3-3 game going to the 7th inning. Padres put 2 on base. Ramon Laureano delivered again a 2-run double. That put the Padres up 5-3. Fast forward bottom 8. Padres still up 5-3. Mason Miller on the mound, a runner on base for Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Swinging a high fly ball left field. Looking up is Laureano. This one is gone. A 2-run home run for Lourdes Gurriel Jr., his 2nd of the night. And the Diamondbacks have tied it here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. It's 5-5. Let's go bottom 10, still tied at 5. The D-backs had runners at first and second for Gurriel. 1-1. Swinging a broken back rounder to third. Picked up by Iglesias. Steps on third. Throws to first. And in time. What a double play. Jose Iglesias. And Robert Suarez out of the inning. Iglesias picked it up, stepped on third for 1, and a throw to first base for 2. Top 11, Fernando Tatis Jr., the Padres' automatic runner. Luis Arraez led off. 0-1, little looper, left side. It's falling, it's fair. Tatis around third base. He's racing for home. The throw by Barossa, not in time. Arraez up to second, an RBI base hit for Luis Arraez. And the Padres jump in front, 6-5 here in the 11th. A sac fly made it 7-5. Later in the inning, it was Ramon Laureano again. 1-2. Swing line drive into right center, a base hit. Carroll over to get it. Machado racing around third. He'll score easily. Ramon Laureano strikes again. The Padres have scored 3 runs here in the top half of the 11th inning. They lead 8-5. An RBI fielder's choice made it 9-5. Freddie Fermin then added on. First pitch. Line drive into right, a base hit. Cronenworth being waved around. Carroll comes up, throwing, throw home, not inside. Cronenworth slides in safely. It's a 5-run top half of the 11th inning. Now it's Freddie Vermeer, an RBI single, and the Padres in front 10-5. David Morgan retired the side in order in the bottom half of the 11th inning. Padres won it in 11. Final score of 10-5, setting up the rubber game of this 3-game series. Yu Darvish making the start last night for the Padres. 4 innings, 3 runs given up. Padres would use 7 relievers as they end up winning that game by a final score of 10-5. Now we turn the page to today's game with first pitch coming up at 6:40 here in Phoenix, Arizona. And right now I'm joined by my radio partner here tonight. That's the great Bob Scanlon. And Scans, well, yesterday the Padres had a seesaw battle against Arizona. They had that big 5-run 11th inning. It felt like a game the Padres really had to win as they got deeper and deeper into that D-backs bullpen, and ultimately that big 11th inning got it done.
You get emotionally invested, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, you're down by 2, then you tie it, then you're behind, then you tie it, then you're up by a couple, then they tie it, and then you get to the 11th inning, and anything can happen in the extra inning games, as we've seen. But the Padres got the job done once again, even though there was a little glitch in the bullpen with Mason Miller giving up that 2-run home run to Gurriel. There was a lot of positives that went on as well, with Motorhome and Adam doing a great job. And we talked about it last night with Robert Suarez coming into the ball game in a key clutch situation with runners on base, and he was able to work out of that. So, a lot of positives in that ball game, along with, of course, the offense and getting help from a lot of the new guys that are showing up in this lineup, Sam, and really a lot of production from the top to the bottom.
Left-hander Nestor Cortes makes his Padres debut today after getting traded at the deadline from Milwaukee to San Diego. It'll be his first major league start in more than 4 months. He was dealing with a left elbow flexor strain for a while. He's healthy, he's back, and it's worth noting, Scans, when Cortes has been healthy, this has been a very, very good starting pitcher. This is going to be interesting here tonight.
Not only a good starting pitcher, Sam, but an experienced starting pitcher, a guy that has plenty of big league, opportunities under his belt, and he's been to the postseason. And I think that's a big factor in why the Padres are so interested in bringing him over here, not only because of what he can potentially do every 5th day coming out of, going to the mound and taking some pressure off this bullpen, hopefully, but also what he can potentially provide in postseason opportunities. And that's what this team is built for. So it's you think about the regular season, but when you're a general manager, you got to think about building your team for postseason when you're making that run. And there is no question that was what's on AJ's mind and his focus at the trade deadline. It's, what do we need to do to bring a championship, not just get to the postseason via the wild card or winning the division, but what do we need to do to win a championship? Having guys with experience in those type of high-pressure situations can certainly help.
On the other side of this pitching matchup, right-hander Anthony DeSclafani on the mound for Arizona, signed with the D-backs in mid-June after beginning his season on a minor league deal with the New York Yankees. Obviously, Padres have seen a ton of DeSclafani over the years. He's been pretty good against them. Not going to go super deep in this game, but this is a solid veteran starting pitcher.
To your point, a solid veteran starting pitcher that the Padres have seen before, and he's had success against the Padres, so he knows how to pitch them. But what's interesting is he's changed some of his repertoire. So I'm very curious to see what his 3 new pitches actually look like tonight, and if that affects the Padres in terms of their experience having faced DeSclafani before and thinking, okay, this is what his slider normally looks like. What's it going to look like tonight? This is what his changeup normally does, but it's different now. What it's going to be the action on it. And on the other flip side of that, Sam, is DeSclafani still trying to figure out how he uses sort of these new weapons and how you sequence them. So something to keep an eye on tonight, and we'll talk about it more as the game starts.
Finally, let's talk about Ramon Laureano. I mean, this guy has been unbelievable for the Padres so far. He's got 5 hits in this series. Laureano, once again last night, stole the show. He had the 2-run triple in the 7th inning, RBI single, 2-run double in the 7th inning, RBI single in the 11th inning, had a triple in the 2nd inning. I mean, this guy has been unbelievable so far. What an addition.
A great addition, and you just get the sense that he is the right match for this lineup, isn't it? I mean, he fits right in. What does this lineup do when it's doing things well? Exactly what they did in the 11th inning. Base hits up the middle, base hits opposite field, and that's been sort of the MO for Laureano as well. We've seen most of the hits going opposite field, and what really opened my eyes was his first home run as a Padre when he drove it opposite field at Petco Park to one of the deepest parts, and I'm thinking, holy smokes, this guy's got opposite field pop, and it wasn't just a fluke. We see the approach. it fits right in with what the Padres are preaching, and so far it's been a great match.
Yeah, he's been a joy to watch so far. Scans, we'll talk to you at 6:30. Thanks so much for the time.
Look forward to it, Sam. Thanks.
Bob Scanlon joining us on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show as we get ready for today's game. First pitch coming up at 6:40, rubber game of this 3-game series between the Padres and the Arizona Diamondbacks. When we come back, we'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. We'll also take an early look at the Padres lineup here tonight. Interesting lineup for the Pods in this one as we get ready for first pitch here at Chase Field in Phoenix. Our pregame coverage continues after this. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the broadcast booth here at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona, as we get ready for today's game. First pitch coming up at 6:40 between the Padres and the Arizona Diamondbacks, rubber game of this 3-game series. We've got a visit in the booth right now by the great Pedro Gutierrez, Padres Spanish language radio broadcaster, visiting us. Pedro does a great job on the Spanish language side of things, and always good to see Pedro. It's been nice spending a little time with Pedro on this trip. We have visitors inside the booth here on the road. You never know who might pop in. So for those of you watching on YouTube, you see special guests really all the time. Let's take a quick look here at the Padres starting lineup. It's a little bit different today. The headline is no Fernando Tatis Jr. Lineup looks like this. First baseman Luis Ariz leading off. In left field, Ramon Laureano batting second. In center, Jackson Merrill batting third. Third baseman Manny Machado batting cleanup. Right fielder Ryan O'Hearn batting fifth. The DH tonight, Xander Bogaerts batting sixth. Jake Cronenworth at second base batting seventh. Jose Iglesias back in the lineup today playing shortstop and batting eighth. And Freddie Fermin doing the catching and batting ninth. Let's go downstairs here at Chase Field and hear from the Padres skipper.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt, served up by Sin Lee Food, where fresh meets flavor. Find farm fresh produce, bold Asian spices, and gourmet ingredients at 4665 El Cajon Boulevard. Sin Lee Food, the cook's Asian resource.
Recover from last night, okay?
Yeah,
It's a wild one.
Yeah, it was a wild one. It was a fun one. So, yeah, it's great and ready to go again.
Yeah. What's your expectation out of Nestor today?
You know, not a lot of history with him. Seen him a little bit across the other side. Clearly done our research on him, and expectations really no different. You know, control counts, keep them off balance. You know, defense make plays behind him and get as many outs as you can.
I saw the lineup today, and there was a change at the top.
Right.
Is this a veteran getting 2 days off kind of thing? What is?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's just. I mean, he's a guy who played almost every single day, so we are taking advantage of the off day tomorrow. And you know, he among other guys, we've been able to pass the DH. You know, pass that around a little bit more, but we have not been able to do it with our outfielders. And so a full day is more than earned from Toddy today. You're welcome. All right.
Hey, you know the policy. We don't hear it. We don't bother, man.
With Nestor, I mean, it's a couple of big boxes.
Recover from last night, okay?
Yeah.
New team first start back from injury as a pitcher.
Correct.
I mean, is there either one of those that you think is maybe a bigger deal for a guy?
I think the health's always going to be the big deal. How it's coming out, ball's going where he wants to. You know, this is a guy that has experiences. You know, played a lot of professional and Major League Baseball. I don't think it's going to overly affect him. I mean, it can't misrepresent that. You know, a new team is not part of the equation. But I do think he's been in the league, been on the mound, knows how to compete. I think the biggest thing is, you know, the ball coming and going where he wants to.
Mike, anybody down today in the pen?
I can't tell you that. We haven't had the guys just play catch, and I haven't had any conversations with anybody.
After an 11-inning game, is there any, would you like to see Nestor go deep? Are you cognizant of his arm? Like, how do you approach tonight after an 11-inning game last night?
I'm cognizant of all of it. That's the puzzle we put together every day that is just that. It's a puzzle that, you know, requires communication with our relievers. You know, the scoreboard tells you a little bit what to do, but also availability. And so it's a combination of things. You know, 11 innings is a part of it. You know, we had 7 different relievers pitch yesterday. We do have a day off tomorrow. And but, you know, I've said this a lot. And it's a general statement, but it's a valid statement. You know, your starter's ability to go deeper in games is always going to be a benefit to your bullpen. So, but we'll read the game and see how it goes, and we'll manage accordingly.
I gotta ask people, have you settled on pictures for Friday, Saturday?
Levitt is going to throw Friday. I think we'll announce after the game the other 2 guys. I don't think it'll be hopefully big a surprise, but you know, Nick's going to throw on Friday.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt earlier today inside the Padres dugout. So you heard the reasoning there why Fernando is not in the lineup. Just a day off. Padres utilizing the team off day tomorrow. Give him 2 straight days off. You'd imagine Fernando would be available off the bench if needed here tonight. We'll see how it goes as the Padres play the final game of this 3-game series in Arizona. Let's quickly pause for station ID on the Padres radio network.
KWFN-FM and KWFN HD1 San Diego.
Hey, this is Mike Shildt. You're listening to Padres Baseball on Padres Radio Network.
An Odyssey sports station.
Sam Levitt with you here at Chase Field in Arizona as we get ready for the rubber game of this 3-game series. Still a lot to do. We'll hear from tonight's starting pitcher, Nestor Cortes, in just a little bit. We'll also go one-on-one with D-back shortstop. In my opinion, one of the real hidden secrets in the National League. Is a good player. That's Geraldo Perdomo. Talk with Geraldo Perdomo coming up in a little bit as well. Let's go around the horn and take you through some of the headlines from around the majors.
Let's examine the most important news and the latest information you need to know in the world of Major League Baseball. Sam Levitt takes you around the horn. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Get ready for Major League winning when you join Valley View Casino and Hotel's Players Club and receive over $200 in free instant offers. Visit valleyviewcasino.com to learn more today.
Some headlines from around the major leagues. The Red Sox have signed rookie outfielder Roman Anthony to an 8-year contract extension, locking up the former number one prospect in baseball in the middle of his really, really nice rookie campaign. It includes a $5 million signing bonus. It is for $130 million total. However, it does have significant escalators, could max out at as much as $230 million. Just 21 years old. He's been terrific so far for the Red Sox, and they lock him up on an 8-year contract extension. That was announced earlier today. Blue Jays capping a series earlier today in Denver. They beat the Rockies 20-1. Toronto finishing with 63 hits in the series, the most by a team in a 3-game series since 1900. They also set a franchise record for runs with 45, and it was the 6th time in franchise history they scored at least 20 runs in that ball game here today. Right-hander Gavin Williams nearly no-hit the New York Mets today. He came within 2 outs of Cleveland's first no-hitter in 44 years before Juan Soto homered with 1 out of the 9th inning. Guardians did win that game and sweep the Mets as they won it 4-1 earlier today at Citi Field. Big news today, Jen Powell is set to become the first woman to umpire in Major League Baseball when she works games this weekend between the Miami Marlins and Atlanta Braves. She will work the bases in Saturday's doubleheader at Truist Park, and she'll work the plate on Sunday. So big news. Jen Powell becoming the first woman to umpire in a Major League Baseball game when she works this weekend in the series between Miami and Atlanta. A's reliever Jose Leclerc, who was shut down for the season in late July, he underwent successful surgery on his right shoulder, the A's said earlier today. And finally, little update on the Dodgers' Roki Sasaki. He's finally ramping up after spending the past 3 months on the IL. He said earlier today, or actually it was yesterday, he said he had no pain in his right shoulder. He did express confidence in his ability to regain his fastball, velo, and we'll see when Roki Sasaki, big pickup for the Dodgers during the offseason when he returns for LA. Like we said, Dodgers losing to the Cardinals already today. Padres with a win here tonight in Arizona can move 2 games out of first place in the National League West. When we return, I go one-on-one with Geraldo Perdomo. Plus, we take a look at our keys to the game. Much more. We also hear from Nestor Cortes coming up in a little while as well. First pitch at 6:40 right here on the Padres Radio Network. EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside Chase Field here in Phoenix as we get ready for today's game. First pitch coming up at 6:40 between the Padres and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Padres come in 63-51. The D-backs at 54-60 on the season. I go one-on-one with D-back shortstop Geraldo Perdomo in just a moment. But first, let's tell you about the injuries entering today's game.
Who's in? Who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit them up 24/7 at badafulkerson.com.
Well, nothing really new to report today, so let's recap what some of the key D-backs injuries are. Right-hander Kevin Ginkel put on the IL with a shoulder sprain in the series opener on Monday. Pavin Smith dealing with an oblique injury. He's currently on the IL. D-backs also without their catcher, Gabriel Moreno. He fractured his finger earlier this season. Ryan Thompson, one of their relievers, also on the IL with a shoulder injury. Michael King, the update on him from the Padres standpoint, through 61 pitches in his first rehab start with AAA El Paso on Sunday. He went 3 innings and a third, gave up 6 earned runs, but as I've said, don't worry about the results, just worry about the pitches. And with JP Sears getting optioned down to AAA yesterday, does make you wonder if we could see Michael King this weekend against the Red Sox back in the major leagues. Sounds like we're maybe heading that way, no guarantee, but sounds like a possibility with Michael King maybe on the precipice of returning. And that's a quick look at our injury report. Really no other injuries pertaining to tonight's game to talk about from the Padres standpoint. D-backs did make a roster move earlier today. They optioned left-hander Kyle Nelson back down to AAA Reno. He had a really rough outing yesterday. He faced 3 batters and walked all 3, did not go well. And the D-backs calling up right-hander Casey Kelly from AAA Reno. Presumably he'll be available out of the D-backs bullpen today. Well, I caught up with Geraldo Perdomo, Diamondback shortstop, earlier today. Perdomo, really nice player. He's had a couple of really good years in a row, batting .278 this season, 11 home runs, 75 RBIs. He's hitting well over 300 since the All-Star break. He's a good defender, one of the better shortstops, I think, in the National League. Somebody that doesn't get talked about a ton, but certainly is a good player, and quite candidly, somebody that I covered down in Amarillo at AA in 2021. So I've known Geraldo for a long time, always been a fun personality. I caught up with Geraldo earlier today. Sam Levitt here on the Padres Radio Network as we get ready for today's game in Arizona. And right now I'm joined by Diamondback shortstop Geraldo Perdomo. Well, Geraldo, you're having another really nice season. How would you describe your season to this point?
Pretty decent, honestly. I feel how to be proud, blessed of the hard work I've been putting. My hitting coach back home, all my teammates been supporting me so far through the season. So I think that's why I get so many success so far. First of all, God, we all God, we all His blessing. I haven't been the player I am right now.
Looking back at last week, obviously around the trade deadline, your team moved a number of pieces, Suarez, Kelly, Naylor, a few others as well. How did this clubhouse sort of react to that news?
Everybody react, kind of sad, disappointed. But the same way, we know this is baseball. We know we just have to continue to play with the player we have. We just have to move forward. To the end of the day, like I said, this is baseball. This is business, and when they feel like we wasn't ready to be in the wild card race, that's why they decide to move on. But like I said, I feel we still have decent team. We just need to continue to play good baseball, get on base, take a good pitches, making better pitches. So I think we're gonna be better than what we expect.
Even with the trades, there's still a lot of talent here. You, Ketel Marte, Corbin Carroll, Alec Thomas, a lot of really good young players. How do you view, still, even after the deadline, the core of your team?
I view, obviously, no one can replace Gino or Naylor or Merrill. But like you said, like we are young, we have so many talent here. We put in 2023. We just need to play good baseball. Uh, Support our teammate, handle our back together, and just fight together. If we wanna die, we're gonna die together.
We're here with D-back shortstop Geraldo Perdomo. Geraldo, when you first came up a handful of years ago, you were a young player, shortstop, trying to get your feet wet in the major leagues. And, you hear from people around this team. You've really turned into one of the leaders of this group. Does it feel like that to you, even though you're still pretty young?
I feel that way, but to me personally, like I look at myself that way because we have really good leader here, But I feel like that's my teammate. My teammate been putting me in that spot. Like I said, the way I work hard, the way they treat me, I treat everyone. I think they've been calling me like I'm one of the leader, and I think I gotta accept that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just need to be the same guy I am, and with the same energy, mentality, the same dedication to my work every day, and we'll see what we can happen in the future.
Finally finish up this series against the Padres here tonight. Obviously, they made a lot of moves to add on to their team in the bullpen, in their lineup. How do you view the Padres right now as you finish up this series?
I view it like one of the best team in baseball. If they're not the best, they top 5 in the league. I feel they have the best bullpen in the league too. When facing those guys and being that way and play the way we play against those guys, against that team, it's kind of impressive. If you compare our team with them, they spend a lot of money. They that's a super team. When you see they finish the 5th, you come with Morejon, or you come with Strada, or you come with Adam, or you come with Miller, or Morgan, or Suarez. That's for me. Like they really good. They really good. Like I said, I gotta give it the flower to him because they awesome, and I hope if we didn't have the chance to make the playoff, I hope they go far. Like I feel they deserve it. They've been working. They've been putting some interest and great piece to the trade line the last 3 years. So I feel like they can go far if they play together and if they fight like as a brother. With that bullpen they have, like, man, it's tough when you see guy or face guy those pictures. It got impressed for us. Me as a rival, like seeing play like a player like this, it's kind of awesome.
Geraldo, thank you for the time. We'll catch up with you again down the road. Thanks so much.
Right, thank you.
That was Diamondback shortstop Geraldo Perdomo earlier today inside the Padres clubhouse. Let's give you our keys to tonight's game.
How will the Padres unlock a win today? These are the keys to the game. Presented by El Centro Motors Ford. Meet your new Ford General Manager, Greg Ryan, now at El Centro Motors Ford, your new Ford truck, Bronco, and SUV HQ. Call Greg directly at 619-944-0774.
Key number 1, some length from Nasty Nestor. Nestor Cortes making his Padres debut here tonight. Cortes threw 93 pitches in his last rehab outing at AAA Nashville when he was still with the Brewers organization. The reason you need a little length from him, despite it being his first major league start in more than 4 months, despite his debut in the brown and gold, well, the Padres had to use 7 relievers in yesterday's game. They've got some guys that have pitched 3 games in 4 days. So, look, it would be nice to get Cortes at least somewhat deep into this game. We'll see if Nestor Cortes can do that here today. Key number 2, keep this offense rolling. Padres took 11 innings last night, but they scored 10 runs on 14 hits. Padres have now recorded 10-plus hits in 6 of their last 12 games, sitting 295 in that span with a 363 on base percentage. Luis Arraez in the midst of an 18-game on base streak. Manny Machado batting 444. During a 13-game on-base streak, Jake Cronenworth has reached base safely in his past 11 consecutive games. So keep this offense rolling. That's key number 2. Key number 3, keep on somewhat limiting the very top of this Arizona lineup. Ketel Marte, Corbin Carroll, Geraldo Perdomo, they have 6 hits in this series. They don't really have a ton of big hits, though. Corbin Carroll has a couple of RBIs. Perdomo has not been a run producer. Marte has not been a run producer. Now, the guy behind those guys, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., he has. We'll talk more about him coming up in the broadcast. But keep on limiting the very top, that dangerous top of the Diamondbacks lineup. Marte, Carroll, and Perdomo. Padres have done a good job holding those guys in check throughout the first 2 games of this series. And that's a quick look at our keys to today's game. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, tell you what's gone on today around the majors.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
Marlins continue to play well. They beat the Astros today 6-4 in Miami. Cardinals beat the Dodgers 5-3 in LA earlier today, so good news from a Padres perspective. Rays beat the Angels 5-4 in Anaheim. Like we said earlier, Blue Jays beat up on the Rockies, and I mean beat them up. 20 runs on 24 hits. Toronto wins it 20-1. Yankees snapped a 5-game losing streak earlier with a 3-2 win in Arlington against the Rangers. Cubs beat the Reds 6-1 in Chicago as the Cubs avoid a sweep of Cincinnati. Twins and the Tigers in Detroit. Twins won at 9-4. Guardians beat the Mets 4-1. Gavin Williams, Guardians right-hander, came 2 outs away from a no-hitter in that one. Giants beat the Pirates 4-2 in Pittsburgh. Orioles beat the Phillies 5-1 in Philadelphia. Games going on right now. A's and the Nationals in the 9th inning in D.C. Royals leading the Red Sox 6-2 in the 7th inning at Fenway. Brewers lead the Braves 5-3 in Atlanta in the 7th inning. Only one game yet to begin aside from this one. White Sox and the Mariners at 6:40 in Seattle. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard here on this Wednesday evening. When we come back, we hear from tonight's starting pitcher, Nestor Cortes, ready to make his Padre debut. Plus, we tell you what to watch for in today's game. First pitch is coming up at 6:40 right here on the Padres Radio Network. EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside Chase Field here in Phoenix, Arizona, as we get ready for the rubber game of this 3-game series. EcoWater SoCal, your water should be perfect. Let's hear from Nestor Cortes, who spoke inside the Padres clubhouse before the left-hander makes his Padres debut.
So welcome to the whirlwind, man. You go from one contender to another.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're settling into the new uniform and digs?
Yeah, I feel good. I think that the past 48 to 72 hours here have been great. Just learning, a lot of names, a lot of faces, and but ready to rock.
What's the toughest part of the adjustment to a new club?
I think the moving part is the hardest part. Obviously, being in Milwaukee and planning out for living there for 6 or 7 months, and then getting a call all of a sudden and moving across the country. It was tough, but I mean, like I said, I'm happy to be healthy. I'm happy to be able to contribute here, and I know it's a special team. The deadline was crazy for this team, so I just want to be another stepping stone to what these guys want to accomplish.
What was your reaction when you found out you were going to not only San Diego but a contender?
Yeah, no, I probably got called 10 minutes before by the Milwaukee GM, and he had advised me that I had been traded, and obviously, it sucked for me because I was able to only pitch in 2 games over there, being hurt, and obviously those guys traded for their closer for me, and it was tough to obviously say goodbyes, and it sucked that I wasn't able to give more to them, but I think injuries is part of the game, and I got healthy at the right time, and now I'm going to contribute here, and hopefully, like I said, be another guy in this locker room.
Have you had a chance to talk with Ruben Niebla? I mean, he's got such a great reputation in your industry.
Yeah.
And is this the kind of thing where you just do you for a little bit, and everybody kind of feels each other out, or was there input right out of the gate before your first start?
No, he made it clear to me on Sunday when I went to go play catch. He's like, "Hey, do you? Obviously, we know who we're getting, so we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here, but." If there's anything you ever need or want to take a deep dive into things that you do, I'm here for you. So that kind of released some pressure out of that conversation with me and him. And yesterday I threw my bullpen here in Arizona, and I thought the conversation was really well. He saw my pitch mix, he saw what I was able to do, and like I told him, I love the numbers, I love the analytics, but I also understand the style of pitching and how to pitch. So I think if we combine both, it'll be great for me.
Hey, speaking of style, we're going to see any of that shimmy shake stuff, the Johnny Cueto-esque kind of move?
Yeah. I mean, those things aren't really planned. Just come to me naturally in my outing, and hopefully, I'm on a roll tomorrow, and I'm able to do a thing or two with my body and throw some stuff. Yeah.
Nestor, what was the most difficult part about coming back from this injury in particular?
Talking to the doctors and the trainers, obviously in Milwaukee, they told me it's a thing that's not going to heal from, night and day, especially where it is. There's not a lot of, blood flow in that area. So obviously the new blood and new cells are what recuperates your body from all these injuries. It's just a matter of time where little by little strengthening and being on top of it was just going to make it better throughout time. And I think I'm in a good spot right now where if I do stay on top of it, I mean, we've done a lot of stuff here in these 2 days that I've been here. And I've been feeling great. But hopefully down the line, hopefully sooner rather than later, I'm pain free. But I do feel like I can do my job at a really high level. And that's what I guess the most important part when being traded here was, I guess the big question was, hey, is he able to do this? Everything he does, because we want 100% Nestor. We don't want 50% Nestor, right? So even in Milwaukee, when I threw my last outing in AAA, I threw 93 pitches and I felt really good. So, and I guess the question was the bounce back, right? If I pitch, day 1 and pitch day 6, am I able to recover in between? So for me, that was the biggest question. And my last 2 outings were really good. I was able to recover real well. And like I said, if I stay on top of this, I think it's going to go real well for me here.
That was left-hander Nestor Cortes earlier today inside the Padres clubhouse. Quite candidly, not earlier today, but yesterday inside the Padres clubhouse. Cortes making his Padres debut here today against veteran right-hander Anthony DeSclafani on the mound for Arizona. We'll talk much, much more about that starting pitching matchup coming up over the course of tonight's broadcast alongside Bob Scanlon. First pitch coming up at 6:40 here in Arizona as we get ready for today's game, the rubber game of this 3-game series. Again, the Padres have an opportunity today with the Dodgers losing earlier to move just 2 games out of first place in the NL West. We'll see how Nestor Cortes contributes to that here tonight in his Padres debut. Let's tell you what to watch for.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For, presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovementsSD.com.
What to watch for in today's game. Can Jackson Merrill continue to be a big-time run producer? Merrill has an RBI now in 7 consecutive games, 11 RBIs total in that span. Only 3 Padres since 1994 have had longer streaks. Manny Machado, 8 straight games with an RBI in 2019. Jason Bartlett had 9 straight games with an RBI in 2011. Steve Finley had 9 straight in 1996. So we'll see if Jackson Merrill can make it 8 games in a row with at least 1 RBI here tonight. He swung a good bat as of late. And that's what to watch for in today's game. As always, we appreciate you listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft. Since 1925, your water should be perfect. Well, the Padres falling on Monday night, bouncing back with a big 11-inning win in last night's ball game. What's in store in the rubber game of this 3-game series here tonight? We're going to find out. When we come back, Bob Scanlon joins me. We continue to chat about today's game. We have the starting lineups, first pitch, and then all the play-by-play. You're listening to your home for San Diego Padres baseball, 97.3 The Fan, and the Padres Radio Network.